The federal quarantine hotel program is proving ineffective. Over the last week, horrifying reports of sexual assault, unsafe and deplorable conditions at federal quarantine hotel facilities have emerged. We are also concerned that the haphazard patchwork of exemptions and the lack of consideration for essential and compassionate travelers has left some people stranded.
The Conservatives are calling for an end to mandatory quarantine hotels. There are concerns about the conditions in some hotels and a lack of clarity around exemptions. Since February 22nd, most air travelers have had to take a COVID-19 test once they land. They're required to wait for the results in a government-designated hotel at their own expense. We asked to speak to the government about this issue, but no one was made available. Dr. David Poon is the founder of the Faces of Advocacy. The group is part of a charter challenge against the government over the use of these hotels. He joins us from New York City. Hi, Dr. Poon. Good to see you. Thank you for making the time.
David, it's fine, Vassy. Thank you so much.
Let me just start off and tell me, you're in touch with so many people who are trying to reunite with their families. What are you hearing about the experience they're having?
The largest challenge has been since the implementation and rumor of the quarantine hotels, we've been asking for an exemption for families. Oh, this is essential travel, essentially. People need to see their families for various reasons. There are a number of challenges given COVID, and family is essential. Being together is not a party in Cancun. It's not going to Europe for fun. This is essential, and the challenge has been those exemptions have fallen on deaf ears, and because of that, our only recourse right now is to file a charter challenge with the Government of Canada.
And what is the status of that challenge?
At the moment, we weren't able to get an injunction. However, during the first week of April, we would be able to actually be heard and have a charter hearing. This is where the Superior Court of Quebec will be able to say, well, this is or is not in violation of the charter. And this is necessary at the moment because there are so many people in concerning positions. One of our original plaintiffs is the person who bravely expressed the story of sexual assault at the Sheraton Hotel. And there are a number of other people who've been having troubles with accessing proper dietary foods at the hotel. Those who do not feel safe because there's no lock on the door, and those who are already grieving in such a difficult situation, unable to get through packed phone lines to go to a place that the Government of Canada has yet to establish is more safe than at-home quarantine.
So the government says, let's deal with, for example, the exemption side of things. There is a list of people who can be exempted. For example, you want to be present during the final moments of life for a loved one, to provide care to a person who has a medical reason to attend a funeral or end-of-life ceremony. Are you seeing that people are applying and not being able to get an exemption, or should there be, is more clarity needed, or is it being applied differently? Like, what are you seeing in that respect?
That confusion is exactly what's happening to members, and we feel that system needs to stop because people are already in a very difficult position. So, for example, the exemption to come in a critically ill time. We had someone who is a Canadian citizen who does humanitarian work overseas, could not get a hold of anyone in the government to get a piece of paper saying that they are exempt from the hotel quarantine. The person had to fly in, wasn't sure what was going to happen. The CBSA officer had to make the decision right there and then. Very stressful when her father is dying. We had someone who had to go to Portugal to attend the funeral, coming back, no exemption given. And in addition to that, did not even need to complete all 3 days because the second test came back soon enough, but was still charged the full amount, which was in excess of 3,000 Canadian dollars. These people are suffering. Family is essential, and yet we are adding an extra burden to them without actually showing the data that hotel quarantine is superior to at-home safe quarantine.
Is there a solution outside of the court challenge? Like, what could the government do you think, to amend the policy, or do you just need it? Are you looking to see it scrapped completely?
Since October, when Minister Haidu had said, well, there will be no quarantine hotels, we have been acting on those rumors saying, all right, if there are quarantine hotels, please exempt families or make them free for families. Since the rumors came in February, we pursued that. We tried again, and this has fallen on deaf ears, even when asked directly in the House of Commons. Unfortunately, the only recourse we had left was the charter challenge. We do not want to go up against our government. We don't want to have a legal battle in the middle of the pandemic. But the fact is, we were given no exemptions and no consideration, and now we have all these problems for suffering families.
So just to be clear, you want the program to end completely? Like, is there a middle ground here?
All I can say is if they gave exemptions for family,
Right.
we would have never done the charter challenge. Now we have to because this is the only way we see families being exempted from the quarantine hotels.
And has there
And
been?
it's not a great situation.
I'm so sorry. Pardon me. I didn't mean. I thought I thought you were finished there. I just
Oh,
wanted.
my
I just
apologies.
wanted. It's great pandemic TV times. I just wanted to get a sense from you. I mean, I know that you've lobbied. Have you had any interactions with the government? Like, has there been any discussion going on, particularly for the cause you represent, around people trying to reunite with their families?
Last year, the IRCC was very good at keeping in close contact with us, and that's why we have extended family and compassionate exemptions. I've reached out multiple times to public safety and to health this year, and they have not returned my emails. We have not gotten back a response, and we want to work collaboratively with the government because that's the best path forward. Unfortunately, we now are at the stage of a charter challenge. Last year, we were considering it. Luckily, IRCC and I were able to talk, and we avoided that. Here we are now, and we do not feel we are being heard.
Okay, Dr. Poon, David, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for making the time tonight. As always, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Vassy, for your time. And please, I hope we understand that we are not here to get our family sick. We don't want your family sick. Family is essential, and we want everyone to be safe.
Okay, David Poon is the founder of the Faces of Advocacy. Thanks, David.